Alrighty. Hey, welcome everybody. I'm going to do my best here to break the bad news. No face cam today, unfortunately. I'm using both of my cameras for painting, but I do obviously have the kind of home board set up. So, of course, give you guys a little friend to look at while I do my introduction here. We'll name him From Blemblem. From Blemblum's here. He's gonna kind of give you something to look at while we introduce ourselves. So thank you for joining the stream. My name is Ross, of course, and today I'm just gonna do some chill vibes. Gonna do some painting. I've got my coffee, of course, Notorious Coffee. Whoa, hide that little guy. I'm not sponsored. Um, just some nice cold brew. And other than that. I'm going to go ahead and slip right into it, actually. I feel like maybe, I don't know, it'll be cooler to see what's going on here. So, last time we were working on this guy here, Mr. Orange Shirt, we'll call him. And I'd kind of gotten a little frustrated with how the project was going, just because of where my camera was, my auxiliary. This stream setup is going to be similar to last time. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have... of course, the main camera here with the up camera. I realize the resolution on this camera is not the best. So again, still kind of workshopping to make sure I get everything right. One thing I did notice from last stream that I like to implement is my music was a little quiet. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in that music. So this should be a little bit better for you guys. Definitely want to make sure that the audio is heard. I'm going to bring it in just a little bit louder here. It's quiet anyway, the song's shifting over, so hopefully it's not too loud when it picks back up. But, again, for those chill vibes, gotta have some mellow tunes. There we go. Kind of a little Minecrafty. And of course I have, oh, here it is right here. That's gonna be your track. Other than that, yeah, I kind of want to do more chill vibes. I don't think I'm gonna be pressed too hard today. Definitely don't want to be peeking the mic again, so indulge with me if you will. Just some kind of chill vibes. I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. Today I'm drinking cold brew concentrate that's just cut by milk, so I do about a 60-40 just because I want some of that. Oh, little loud on the music, let's turn that down. Just because I want some of that, you know, creaminess in there. I don't want to be all coffee in the chill vibes. I don't need to get too woken up just yet. So that being said, I'm just going to be painting this little guy. I'm hoping I'm setting some good kind of study, relaxing vibes. Let you guys kind of chill out. And yeah, no, please enjoy yourself over the next couple hours while I just sit here and paint a little bit. That'd be fun for us to just kind of hang out and paint. So I'm just going to be kind of monologuing my my method here and kind of what I'm doing. Of course, I know that we did the shirt details here, as well as the armor and the pants. I remember we were going to do, I think that we had purple pants last time. Looked absolutely garish. Yeah, I can actually see the purple right here. Is what we were using, so we skipped on that because we said that with the green sword it would just be too much, and so we're just gonna hop back into it where we were. I think I want to go ahead and if you look, his head and his hair are still unpainted. I definitely want to get some color in there. This guy looks he looks kind of like human, elvish, maybe like a thick elvish boy, so I think I'm gonna do kind of a fawn skin tone, something a bit maybe half cold brew, half milk adjacent. I think that'll complement that kind of warmer shirt tone as well. And then the cool from the green will kind of give that something to play with as well. So let me grab a paint. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to choose this skull tone, because what I'm going to do is I'm also going to go over this with a shade, and I think this will highlight very well on top of that. So basically, With the Games Workshop paint line, you typically do a base, a wash, and a layer. Or a base, a shade, and a layer, as they say. This time around, I'm just going to use the layer because I like this color a lot, and I'm just going to kind of play around with it and see what happens. Also, no face cam means that you don't watch me pry my paint jars open like a little animal, like a little raccoon. So I'm going to go ahead and get into this little guy. And let's get some on our palette here. Let's open that up. I boop this scoop, and then I have something else that I need to do really quickly. Still trying to get the hang of mentioning the streams to my socials and getting that information out there. So I'm just going to get this nice and moist on my palette, and then I'm going to do a little keyboarding real quick. So you'll have to hang in with me for just 2 seconds. Okay, so easy peasy, lemony squeezy. Let's pick this back up and get to applying some nice tone here to the face. I'm gonna try and modulate myself. I definitely want to find the best angle here. Again, this is kind of more for myself. I can tell that I want to use a different camera next time, but again, these things are just kind of notes for myself. I very much like to go back and watch the VOD to kind of get an idea of where I'm at. Trying to give myself some grace with my perfectionism. I always want to put out the best product, and it's something that can become a bit obsessive for me, so I think I'm going to try to step away from that a bit. You know, I think that there was some fairly good advice put out by a content creator named Mr. Beast. Maybe you've heard of him. And one thing he mentioned is that, you know, if you want to get into content creation, there's one simple thing that you can do, and that is put out 100 videos. Or, you know, how I'm translating it is do 100 streams. Just go ahead and do it. Put it out there. And then if you like doing it, you'll be able to keep doing it. And if you don't like it, you'll know. If you don't make it to 100, you'll know, hey, this isn't really, you know, cut out for me. So really, this is more of the for myself side. I'm not really trying to, blow up right now. I really just want to measure my consistency and how well I'm able to, you know, manage that schedule, stay on track of things, prove to myself that this is what I want to do, you know? I also need to prove to myself that I can remember to get paper towels, because I did forget once again the paper towels. I believe I forgot last stream, so we're gonna be on some gremlin energy today. I think I can just use this toilet paper I have, and we'll just pretend that it's not gonna be fibrous, and it's not gonna irritate me. Sometimes, especially, the worst, tissue paper. I hate tissues so much because they have that powder. It's the worst. Anytime I would much rather use a brown paper towel from a stadium, like a dry, nasty, crusty thing, than ever pick up a tissue to use, like to blow my nose or whatever. Because it's nasty. It's gross. I hate it. I already have the skin tone down, and I know you can't really see it too well, but basically it's kind of this kind of cream fawn color. What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a shade on top of this, and it's really just going to wash that out and kind of bring some darkness into the recesses and give it an overall depth and complexion. So let's go ahead and do the hair. I feel like a traditional he's an elf. Let's remember that he's an elf. So blonde hair, maybe some sterling kind of shimmering blonde hair. Let's see if I have a color for that. Oh, bump my camera. I don't often do blonde. I think the only color I have is this kind of desert color. So we're gonna definitely not shade, because this is already ew. So obviously you can tell I haven't used this paint in a second. This is a color that what I'm going to do is, instead of the traditional 3-step, I'm probably just going to skip doing the recess wash with this color because it is darker. So what I want to do is just apply this in the layers, and then I'll just go over it with a highlight, because I feel like it's dark enough. I don't need to add any complexity there. So just apply it. Definitely make sure it's watered down enough that it gets in all those recesses. The last thing that you want is to have little white spots poking out in the kind of wells, because then it's like, oh hey, there's just a bunch of bright, like if it's on top, because you're going from dark in the depths to light on the tips. Well, if you've got your light kind of in those dark spots, it's like, okay, what's going on there? Who knows? Is there a flashlight in his hair? Do you have little fairies making it glow? Don't wanna be a little silly like that. So definitely make sure that paint is nice as viscous. Honestly, I think it's working out for me. It's kind of like a nice yellow color. So we're doing it, and we're doing it well. I wonder, it might be fun to do midstream. I might actually switch the angles here, because I feel like with that low resolution on my close-up, it's throwing me off, because you can't really tell. But if I minimize it and kind of match the resolution it is at base, I might get a better product out of it. Okay, so I applied the yellow. I'm probably going to wait to see if there's not a kind of secondary thing I need to do here. What I'm going to do right quick, and you're gonna watch this in real time, is I'm gonna flip these cameras real quick. So I've got two. Whoa, crazy, right? I'm gonna shrink this one down. Or maybe, is it a half and half that we want to do here? Because I've also got chat that I need to worry about. I think I can put chat over here. You know what? It's just really kind of free balling at this point. So let's do this. A little bit smaller, and then we'll do that to match. Because I also don't want it to look kind of ganky, like I just cut and pasted a bunch of stuff together. So I feel like the resolution here is better. Let's look at the guy. Let's bring up Mr. Man. What's his name? I don't know. I feel like that definitely matches a little bit closer to what I want it to. So like, even though it's smaller, like the resolution matches what it is, right? So you can kind of get away with it not looking all pixelated or whatever. Or I could also, let's see how well I can play with this on the fly. What if okay, and then okay, that's gross. You can see my paint handle really nasty, but look at, so there's the guy. So maybe I kind of have it switched up here, so that way you can kind of see Mr. Man when I want to show him off. So I'm painting him. There he is. So what's the story? Hold on, I want to take a break and think about this guy's story. Let me drink coffee, and then we're gonna really get into this. Because it could also be fun to do a character sheet for him while we're looking at him. Because here's what I'm thinking, right? So we've got Mr. Man here. Definitely looks more like a person with his hair colored in. I'm thinking like we could do a paladin or cleric. I feel like that flaming sword that we're gonna, color in. It's definitely giving some kind of holy crusader vibes. The orange, I don't know, like really what kind of colors go with whom. But the T, just like on the shield, like I feel like you could easily do that as like a divine symbol, or maybe that's where he's from. He's from Townsville, and it's a giant T for Townsville. So we could even like kind of roughly or crudely paint that T as well to be like an insignia, or maybe it's like a cross but without the head. So no head Jesus. I don't know. Let's think about that while we're painting. I kind of want to get more of a narrative side to this man. So give me just 2 seconds. I'm gonna move everything around because I gotta move my little legs. Okay. I'm sure that this is giving someone nausea, just jostling them. Hey, audience at home, let me just shake you up. Shaking baby time. So, okay, so let's say I'm painting blah, 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 and then I... It's like a jump scare. I think this is probably my perfect... Yeah. So you can definitely see a lot more of the detail here in the hair. The brightness is a little high. Can we... I don't know if it's easier to see now, because I was just worried about that glare from the shield. Yeah, I think... Oh, I think that's my sweet spot, actually. So here's our dude. I'm gonna get back to painting him. Oh, you can see I missed a spot down there. Look at that. We need to put some iron on here. What I'm going to do real quick, just to make sure we have a nice, thick, voluptuous coat, is I'm going to dive back into that skin tone that we were using, that kind of bone color. And I'm just going to go right back over with a thinner layer. Because, again, I just want to make sure I get that resoundingly covered. I want it to be smooth, chill, and then also, if I were to have made a mistake with that hair color, I'd be cleaning it up right now. If I got anybody on the scalp, because I'll show you there's kind of this ridge on the hairline, so I can kind of just start my brush down, bring it up, and then bring it across, so that way you know you're not going to get into the hair or anything like that. You're using the geometry of the model to your advantage. And then otherwise, yeah, I'm just going to double check the neck. I think we got it. Like, that's really his only like revealed skin on the model, so we're whatever about that. We got all the skin done. What I'd like to do is just kind of go over all the spots, probably do another coat of that iron color for his shield and armor, and then we're going to move into doing some highlights, which is my favorite part. I'm excited. I love getting some nice colors on there, giving some depth. We'll do the... I lied to you, and I'm so sorry. We're actually going to do some recess washes first before we get into that highlights. But either way you cut it, we're going to give some really nice details here. And then what I want to do is I want to save that little blade for last, because I'm so excited about it. With that kind of clear plastic that you're seeing there, I'm going to use a very translucent paint, almost like an ink, to kind of just coat over it. It's going to keep that like see-through-y, detail-y, kind of ethereal look. I'm very excited about it. So why don't I touch up that iron? We'll get into some shades. Hopefully everybody brought their own cups of coffee. I did not bring enough to share, unfortunately. Also, I don't know. I feel like I should bring several cups of coffee, because everything just kind of hits different. Like, black coffee has its own vibe, and then, you know, there's some cream, whatever. That's its own individual drink. And then, oh my god, throw some sugar in there or a flavor. It's like a little dessert, like a little treat. So, like, maybe I want a black coffee and a little treat coffee. I don't know, just something to think about. That's kind of why I chose just milk for this. Oh my god. Cup stream. It's the cup of coffee stream. You want to look in there? Look in there. It's like no consistency. It's like an in-between point of like that kind of sweet and then just black. Like, it's still got some of the richness from the cold brew, but it's not overwhelming. I'm gonna take a second to actually drink this. I am also harrowingly terrified that I'm going to just boop my camera with some paint and mess it right up. So don't let me do that. I'm gonna hold chat responsible. You guys don't let me put paint on the camera. That being said, I'm just gonna go back over this. That metal paint can be kind of weird to work with sometimes. It's thick. It can be a little laborious at times just because of how much it takes to spread. But otherwise, I love a little metallic paint. Some people in the industry and the hobby like to do what's called NMM, which is non-metallic metals. What they do is when you look at this and you see that bright shine of white and then the dark gray and this kind of shading in between, they'll manually paint that on instead of using this metallic paint, which kind of automatically gives it that nice pretty look, but it's only at one angle. It's kind of like a showcase of how good you are at blending and doing that kind of thing, because some people like that. I definitely think it has its place, but I've never really preferred that look to just the metallic, because it's like that metallic has that sheen as it moves. You see that light kind of bouncing off of it. I feel like that is more entertaining to me than saying, oh look, I mixed the white down to gray and it looks all cool and real. So definitely not knocking anybody that has the skill to do that. Just not particularly a skill that I wish to pick up just yet. So make sure that what's my good in between here? Is it here? I feel like that's kind of far away. I don't have the cameras lined up anymore. It's cool. Not that pressed about it. As long as I can say, there he is. There's the man. Let's let him walk to the camera. That's his walk. He's voguing right now. He's, Anyway. It's so easy to just get unfocused. I feel like the camera itself is its own toy that I get to play with. It's just like, wow, look at these little things. I was instantly attracted to, I don't know, film and cinematography as a child. It was just this idea that like I could capture moments like that and just kind of like make something with it. I remember my aunt had a video camera, and I would always, when we would meet at my grandmother's, I'd always take it and just start recording stuff with it. I was always like just instantly interested in making any kind of video. I would like line up stuffed animals. I remember having like a little Pikachu, like having his own show, that type of thing. And it was just like, it was an instant interest for me. Just this like, hey, look, I get to, like make this thing that people didn't get to see. And that followed me for a while. Definitely in middle school and high school, I was, that's kind of when I started YouTube, was middle school. I wanted to make videos. I was interested in kind of displaying my own thing or whatever. I mean, even now, like I love it. I just know that consistency is an issue for me, especially having that motivation, like that constant motivation to do things. So that's what we're working on. It's kind of like a personal project of mine. I'm grabbing an orange paint. 2 seconds. Sorry. I do have to turn around to get those paints. But no, like I was saying, I'm not gonna paint the paint jar. Don't worry. It's just like a personal project for me. Like you kind of have things in life where you have goals, you have things that you work towards, but ultimately, like, a personal goal of mine is just to be a more consistent person. I want to believe in myself and believe that I can accomplish things and set those goals, so that's what we're working on. I think this is definitely a good way to train that. I would say let's go ahead and move that, just that way I can have this kind of in the frame. We'll move this guy over too, because I was worried about that. Oh, can I put that? Hold on. Oh, watch this. It's not there. Oh my god, that's crazy. Hold on. There it is. Look at that. Who's that? Can I paint that guy? Whoa, what if I just... Anyway, sorry. Don't remember what I was talking about. Something... I want to find my own personal ability to keep myself motivated to do things, and I don't know, just prove to myself that I can set goals and accomplish them. I think that's a really big people thing. Like, being able to do that would be sick and nasty. So let's work on it. Let's do it. Kind of thing is what I told myself. I would say it's going decently. Like, I got myself back into therapy. I take my medication every day. That's a big one for me. I was always the worst to take medication every day. So that's been interesting. And ultimately, I don't know. I just need to stop judging myself. I feel like I'm the first person to tell myself I can't do something. Like, literally, why? Right? Like, why would you prevent yourself from doing something that you want? I'd rather do something and fail than just not do it. So it's like a fun little adventure of convincing my brain that that's how I feel. Like, my brain's my manager. I'm like, hey boss, listen, I got this thing I want to do. So that being said, to kind of catch you up, I am just kind of going back over this orange. I really want it to be a rich color, and if I do put a shade over it, I don't have to worry about it being diluted or bringing up some kind of, issue with not having a complete coat. Because sometimes those recess shades can kind of show you what you missed, show you those little details. They're going to pick out things that you didn't even see. But that being said, again, just going over Mr. Orange shirt here with orange. It kind of gives red. Like, this is a very orange, but just this dude's whole kind of thing makes me feel like it's red. Like, I would call him a red soldier. Maybe he's, I don't know. It's kind of like the classic, like, ginger hair is called red because we used to not have the color, like the named color orange. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting this guy. This is like the Red Knight. And even though it's orange, like, you get it, right? You get it. I feel pretty confident in that coat. Well, I take that back. I'm constantly picking up things that I can go back over, so I'll do that. And then I think maybe I could also do the browns again. I feel like I'm finishing this model today, though, honestly. Like I said, at most I do the wash, I do some highlights, then I finish that sword. That'll be a fun little ender. So let's talk about the upcoming week. That's kind of the kind of dual purpose of this little session here is Sunday. I want to kind of be like the chatting with the community day. So this will be the day that I, kind of discuss what's coming up, what's going on. I think this Friday, what I'd like to do for my stream is I'd like to play some Halo. I think I might get a small group together, a little team or something, and just kind of go at it, just have some fun, pwn some noobs, as they say, and kind of get into it, kind of do my thing. I've been playing Halo a little bit more recently, kind of just started this past week, and I've been enjoying it. I feel like it's got a different feel to it. Sorry, I did need to grab this color, and then I think I'm gonna run this kind of yellow. No, I think I want the red. Sorry. I think I'm going to do red. I was talking about how I felt like that orange was kind of a red, even though it was orange. I think I am going to throw a red shade over it just to kind of give it some character. And then what I really want is a earthy kind of shade. I want something, I want something that kind of dirties it up a little bit. So let me get that too. Okay, so it seems like I am pretty much out of my earthy shade here, my dirty little grime. Which that means that I have to run back to the store and get some more. So just in case, I'm going to go ahead and pull out the black as well. I think I'm going to mix them, just because I don't want that kind of gritty, nasty bottom of the barrel brown to be the whole coat. And we'll... Honestly, let's look at this guy real quick. I feel like I could probably do that over all of him. I might just do one full wash of that on the body, like the shirt, the armor, get that kind of dirty color in, and then do that face, that face shade. So I'm going to start with the face, because I know that orange might still be drying a little bit because I just painted it. Kind of want to give it a couple extra minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and work on the face. Prise open paint jar with mouth. And I think, let's get a different paintbrush. I want something that can hold a little bit more moisture. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy, because with those shades, again, like, they're going to hit the recesses. They kind of make their own wall for themselves, and I'll point that out here right quick. So, like, on this model, there's, like, you can kind of see under the collar and the neck, it makes almost like a 90-degree angle. So that's going to be where the pooling happens on that shade. So it's going to look darker because there's a bunch of this kind of color just sitting in there now. But it's not going to run all over the model. And you saw me just kind of wipe off some of that color because I don't want too much of it on here. I just really want to kind of go over, make a thin layer of it, and just make sure it hits all those recesses. Because if, again, kind of like I was mentioning earlier, if there's like a little naked recess, it looks weird. You know, honestly, I could probably just run this through the hair as well. It is that kind of browner color. I mentioned not shade washing the hair, but I feel like it can turn into more of a dirtier brown. I was worried about that yellow being too dark, but I think it can handle it, and I know it'll look really good having that brown in case I get lazy. So again, the point of that recess is just to kind of like let that, it's like a watery paint, and that water just lets the paint kind of sit in those deeper areas. So that's what I want to happen here. And I'm going to come back, I'm going to wipe off some of it, and I'm going to suck it up from the corners. So I'll show you. I don't know how well you can see it, but in the kind of collar, there's a little bit too much sitting there. So I want to just drag that out so it doesn't look like there's a black Sharpie that's been run around his neck. And then I think his eyes could use a little bit dulling down. Just kind of push it from the eye well kind of out towards the face again. Find somewhere else to be, man. But see, that kind of has already added a little bit of definition to his face. And then what will happen is we'll come back through with lighter colors, and it'll lighten it back up. Those kind of occipital bones, I'm pointing at them like you can see me. Just like the bones above the eyebrows, and then like the bridge of the nose and stuff like that, I can pull some more brightness to that area to show a true kind of area of depth. So this isn't meant to be like completely changing, it's just to kind of give me that first layer of depth. So basically, we started at the middle. When you make that base layer, that's your middle. I just created the bottom of this kind of gradient. So there's the deeper recesses, maybe little bits of the cheek, and then like on the raised ridges, it is just a touch of a different color. So I'm going to take this color, this middle color of the base layer, go back over it. So then it'll kind of even out and show you there's some darker spots, there's some medium spots. And then we'll take a lighter color just to make that top layer and show you, hey, the tip of the nose, the eye ridges, the jawline, those places are higher up, they're catching more light than things like the eye wells. The base is what I meant to say. So again, I don't know how well you can see it. It's gonna look a little fugly right now, but we'll get some more definition in there. I am gonna go ahead and, like I mentioned earlier, I think just kind of mix this what's called the Agrax Earth Shade is the brown dirty color. I'm gonna mix that kind of half and half with Nuln Oil, which is the wrong brush, which is that black kind of oily gritty. So I'm just gonna repair that on my palette. Do one, I'm gonna do two, because I don't want too much shade because I don't want to waste it. I'm gonna wash this off. I like to kind of clamp down. And then I'm gonna come back with my black. Shake, 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 shake. Pry it open, go raccoon, and then I just kind of do 2 dollops. I'm going to put this next to this, so I'm not reintroducing that brown into the brush and, you know, kind of messing that up. Black, obviously, it's going to have a lot darker of a color, so we want a little bit less. then I'm just going to mix them together right here on the palette. And that'll kind of like dilute it a little bit, but since it's a darker color, it's okay. And then what I want to do is just kind of go over everything with that. Just kind of drag it everywhere. It's going to catch all those recesses. So give me a second to do this, and then I'll show off what that looks like with the close-up camera, just so you can kind of check my progress and see what's going on here. I want you to feel included too. You're welcome to see what's going on. So again, scratches in this shield right now, they're all catching that kind of darker pigment, because what's going to happen is it's going to look like those are a lot darker and deeper than they are. So it's going to look like this guy's been kind of rough and tumbling in the dirt a little bit. He's earned his little battle scars and whatnot. He's been out there in the paint, getting out, as we'd say. And then of course I really don't have to worry about going over the black of his leggings with shade, because they're already as dark as they're going to be. What will happen is I'll just come back later and kind of pick those up with maybe some darker gray highlights to kind of show, hey, it's not all black, there's some layers here, you know, it's not just flat surfaces. And of course you can say, oh, well, if I'm looking at the model in person and I can see these little ridges, why do I need to shade it? Well, you got to think about the fact that this model is going to be all the way over here. You don't get to hold it up to your face the whole time to look at everything, and you need a contrast of colors to show you those details from further away. You want to be able to, look at it while you're sitting down, not, hovered over the game table. That's definitely why we position those things the way they are in the Warhammer game too. Is just because we don't, expect to be staring at these models for the whole game. Maybe when your opponent first rolls up, you're like, oh, let me see your dudes. Okay, cool. He's got a shield. It's orange, whatever. Okay, put him back down. You're not like constantly looking at him. So we want those details to really spark out. We want to show them from a distance. Hey, look, this guy's, there's shade in his armpits, man. There's, complexity to his color palette. And personally, let me say this. I don't know what it is about this model. I don't know if it's the plastic, the paints, or whatever, but like, it's catching this recessed paint really weird in a way that I'm not used to, which is like, there's just like oily pits. Like usually I feel like this doesn't run on as black as it did. I'm definitely gonna, and again, you see a spot like that, you can kind of clear it up. Like in these recesses, I'm just gonna pull it out just a little bit because I don't want it too black. It kind of looks cartoony, almost hitting like Borderlands-y, with just how different that is. So again, that might be on me. Used to there not being these kind of great differences in the height of the detail. So that black is me pulling a lot harder. Or I just, misstepped. And that's what happens sometimes when you're painting, is you kind of choose the wrong paint, choose the wrong color, whatever. And that's okay. You can just kind of play it off however you want to. For me, it's artistic. So we're going to let this guy dry. It usually takes about 20 minutes. I'm not going to give it the full time, I never do. But, oh my god, I'm destroying everything. Oh, little monster. What if we kind of take some time to think about this guy's MO? Like, what's his name? What's his deal? Coffee cam. So, we're talking about maybe like a cleric, right? Maybe a paladin. Could also totally go warlock. Think about that. Like, what if he's this guy? I think I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate recently, and I like the character of Will. He's this this good-natured warlock who, makes this pact. Basically, like, it's kind of in a desperate moment, he has to make this deal with the devil, so to say, in order to save people he cares about. And I think that's this type of this trauma, this character in ingenuity that we like to play with a lot in fantasy. That like desperation, that last minute, cry for help. When you play clerics and paladins, that's something that happens in game often. They'll cry out to their god. They'll say, "Oh, well, can I ask my divine patron for a favor?" So I feel like warlocks kind of work the opposite of that. You start the you start the character with that kind of last minute, "Hey, I need some help here from something or someone," and so you can play it as the they didn't know what they were getting into. The idea of they just made a deal that they can't back out of. Bad idea. Or, maybe it's somebody that okay, so that's kind of a fun idea. What if it's the idea of this bounty hunter type character who, has hunted devils or is aware of, the dark arcane. And maybe they know what they're getting into. Maybe they almost use this pact as a way to lure out this devil that they're hunting, by acting like this kind of naive person, and they plan to build that relationship to get closer to them. I think that could be a fun idea, this idea of becoming a warlock to hunt your patron. It's I made this deal with this archfey, this really grand character from the kind of fairy magic plane, because they're the reason that I this that, and so it's almost like this kind of back and forth where they're pretending to be an endowment to this patron, oh, thank you so much for these powers, whatever, but when the end goal is really to try and turn that knife on them. And maybe they can't. Maybe that is their folly, is that they are stupid and naive enough to think that they can do that. So maybe that's this guy's deal. Maybe he is a warlock who chose that path to try and gain the favor of this patron, gain their trust, to one day try and stab him in the back, find some way to defeat them. Or, even more so, it's that kind of moment of maybe it wasn't initially hostile. Maybe that patron is the reason that their home was destroyed, and an alleged effort that just pled for their life, and now they have that kind of hateful relationship with this patron, where this back and forth. So let's go off the script a little bit, actually. I'm gonna see if that's not something that I can't pull up for us. Maybe we can play with that a little bit. I think maybe we could make a character together real quick while we wait for this to dry. I think that could be fun. It'd be super simple. So what I can do here is let's just open up window and then a new source using Opera GX because I'm such a gamer. So we're gonna open up Opera, and this will be maybe like a little side-by-side, we can kind of build this together kind of thing. And for people that don't really build characters that often, this will be a little, I don't know, step-by-step, or at least show you kind of how I do. I really can't do this in any way that looks nice, so I'm just gonna put this here. So here's the deal. I already have some characters. Let's create a character if I don't have 6. I might have 6. So let's go ahead and start. I'm gonna just do a standard character here. This first page I rarely worry about. I can change the name and the profile at any time. This is all just, do you want whatever stuff? I don't care. Whatever. Let's go into race first. Like I mentioned, actually here, I need to switch this guy over because I want to be able to kind of show this character off as we talk about him. So we got our dude here, right? I think we decided maybe elf, maybe human. I kind of the pale skin. I'm hitting elf. I'm feeling elf. Maybe he's a high elf. Maybe he's got a bit of I'll hold him in frame while we talk about him. It's like one of those where they sell the item. I'm just pivoting him as we go. Oh, for right now, for just $6.5.99, you can purchase Blum Blum Badidum. That's his name, Blum Blum Badabadum. So I think what we can do here is, oh, there you go. I think we're gonna do elf, half elf, maybe half elf, because he's pale, but like he's kind of given thick human vibes. So let's do that. Let's do half elf. I think that's what we got. Here's what I'm gonna do, just so I don't have to hold him the whole time. Here you go. Here's that little guy. Can I hold on? I'm really attempting to do some wild BS right now. I really just need to not here. Wow, look at that. All right, and then we're just gonna I'm gonna bump the camera a bunch. It's gonna be shaky. You just gotta bear with me. So again, he looks kind of stronger, right? He looks kind of thick with it. He's kind of got the vibes. I can't really show off his mad bod. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I feel like he's kind of thick with it a little bit. So I mean, what am I doing? I don't know. I'm trying to get up in his business, man. There. That's good. There he is. Thad. I don't know. Is that a name? Is Thad? I don't like it. Like Elvin Chad. Hey bros, it's Thad. Just got done crushing some ales. So building core improvements. This is kind of also the new. So charisma is good because, like, you know. Oh, and 2 others. So 2 charisma and then 2 others by 1 is fun. I like that. Charisma's gonna be good for a warlock. I think main thing is being a warlock. So usually, I don't want to say I'm like a min-maxer, but I typically always love dexterity because it affects so much stuff. I'm gonna try to just kind of be chill, do whatever. I'm just gonna go off of flavor. So I think he's dexterous, and I think he's kind of constituted. I think he's a thickums. I meant strength. I just said that I wasn't gonna do dexterity. So he's strong. He's kind of thick with it, kind of a hardy boy, and maybe, I don't know, charisma can kind of come from either being charming or having some trait about you that lets you kind of work people in a certain way. I think that, you know, maybe he is kind of stoic and to the point, but maybe he's a handsome boy. Maybe he inadvertently gets his way because he's got a bit of that thick intimidation. We'll get into the skills and see what's going on. Skill versatility. So proficiency in 2, I think I do want to say there's some intimidation going on here. He's a thick boy, right? Intimidation. He's kind of thick with it. He's kind of like, again, like he doesn't mean to be kind of rolling over people, but he walks into a room and he instantly just kind of like does his own thing. He does what he wants to do. He's kind of like to the point. Second skill. Let's see. What's his background? He had this, you know, little thing happen, and then he's become like this adventurer to kind of make ends meet and kind of build his strength up to maybe fight this archfey that he made this deal with. So, maybe he travels. You know what? I want to say that maybe he's been studying a lot. Maybe he does have some religion in him. Like I mentioned earlier about having like a religious character. Maybe he's like studied. So he knows about like archfey and all that kind of stuff. I guess I could also do nature. You know what? I'm going to do a classical D&D thing. I'm going to say between Arcana, nature, religion, or history. We'll roll a d4, and we'll just do them alphabetically. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got a dice here. We're going to move him. Go to roll dice. So again, we're going to do 1 is Arcana, 2 is History, 3 is Nature, and 4 is Religion. So 4. So I think, yeah, from the beginning we kind of had it. So to Religion. We'll say he's a religious boy. He, like, I think tried to study, you know, with clerics and scholars about how to reach, you know, this plane of existence. Maybe he tried to see if there was a god that could help him. Let's get him back. Again, the name Thad is sticking in my head. I don't like Thad. It just, like, is there, and I kind of want to get rid of it. I need a new taste in my mouth. Let's name him Cold Brew Coffee with milk. With milk. Can we make with milk sound kind of fantasy? With milk. With Thmolk. Thmolk. Is his name Thmolk? It sounds like Thmolk. That's a jarring fantasy name. With Thulk. I don't like the if Ulk because it sounds like I'm getting myself into Lisp territory. Let's do half milk. But he's already half elf. I don't like that. It kind of throws in. We'll figure it out. We're still gonna kind of play around with some languages. So, dude knows Common, Elvish, and 1 extra language. I think pretty easily we could just say that as an adventurer, maybe he spent some time with some of their characters and kind of picked up a language. I want to say something kind of chill. I'm gonna say Draconic. Maybe he was like hanging out with like a Dragonborn. The Dragonborn's name was Clarence, obviously. And you know, he's kind of chilling and vibing with him. Kind of picked up some things about him, and they were buddies. His shield brother, perhaps. Class again. We're gonna do Warlock. So Otherworldly Patron. They only have the Fiend on here. So the way that D&D Beyond works, the website is, they kind of have this kit of free content that they give you. So it's not everything. It's just kind of going to be a collection of stuff that you can use. Kind of the basic amount to be able to play the game. So we'll just go ahead and throw in Fiend for now. And again, it kind of tells you, oh, proficiencies. So the exclamation point is nice, so I don't forget anything. So more skills. I'd like to say history I was kind of feeling into earlier. Maybe he, again, spent some time with some scholars. I like it. And then I think maybe investigation. Like, he's good at picking up on stuff. So, again, armor, light armor. I know I have him in this. This guy's got some half plate right now. He looks kind of heavily. Kind of thickened up. So maybe later on he picks up a skill to get that half armor. Or maybe the DM's chill and, you know, we can kind of trade the proficiency and instead, you know, kind of upgrade. So he's got that half armor. He can do simple weapons. He's got a sword that glows for whatever reason. It looks like it probably is normally a long sword. So we'll say it's a short sword that's just gotten a little bit of length on it. Well-endowed short sword. And yeah, it looks like that's going to be what you get out of this. Abilities. I would love to roll these, but I think just for right now, to kind of get closer to the end here, I'm gonna do standard array. I believe that in Baldur's Gate currently it's point buy, but I like standard array. Okay. Remember, we do have that charisma buff, and that's kind of his big skill. So I could just plop the 15 in there, but because I do enjoy a little touch of metagaming, I'm going to do 14, because it's going to make it an even number, and that's when you get your stat buffs. So the difference between 16 and 17 is 9. I would rather have the 14 here, so then I can do the strength at 15 and have a 16. Because remember, we had that +1 to strength. Constitution, I'll do the same. I want to say he's not that dexterous. I think that like he's big and thick with it, but he's kind of clumsy. So I'd say that like I think that, you know, he's kind of got that book smarts. He studied a little bit, kind of wise, whatever, and not super dexterous. And I think those are my skills. I think I feel confident about that. We'll continue on. Let's just name him Milk because it's funny. What if we put 2 I's in there? That's kind of fantasy. Now it's Milk. Milk. Or, yeah, let's do, how about that? How about me Ilk is his elven name. You can really turn anything into a fantasy name if you're stupid enough. Another language. Oh no, that's the background. That's the background. I wanna give him that, like, well, I feel like because of the whole thing with his family, Haunted One fits well. That's kind of a background that says, hey, I had some trauma. Hey, me, I had a little life event. The stage would also work since we were talking about how he has kind of been studying to hunt this person down. So how do we want to define him? Yeah, we'll look at Haunted One real quick. Haunted by something so terrible that you dare not speak of it. So it's going to give you Heart of Darkness, No Strange Darkness. Though they may fear you, commoners will extend every courtesy and do their utmost to help you. I kind of like that, this idea of like this like injured puppy. Like they see this big brute, but like he's not mean looking. He's just kind of a little sad guy. So I kind of like it. Let's do Haunted One. It looks like we've already chosen most of the skills. So we'll do Arcana and Survival, our only choices there, since we've been kind of all over the board getting the other stuff. This guy knows a lot. This is a little warlock that knows his things, or 2s. Another language, it's going to be a deep language. I think that we do, because we're talking about that Fae, that kind of Archfey was the thing. I think we do a Fae language. So I'd like to go Sylvan. Just kind of checking. Yeah, I think that's maybe how he connects. His god kind of taught him. Oh, there. We'll learn Celestial. Maybe he's learned how to communicate with gods again to reach out for help. He spent like a year really honing his skills in his divinity to no alas. Maybe he ends up becoming a cleric later on. A little cleric warlock. I like it. Clairlock. So let's see. We can kind of fill in that stuff later if we want to do a full character. Ultimately, we're going to choose equipment. We'll start him off with sword. He's got a nice little sword. Start off with short sword. Hello, I know you're on this list. I can't read. I would have sworn up and down that a short sword was a simple weapon. Okay. Am I crazy? I definitely... Man, that's bonkers. Just give him a spear for a little bit. Oh, I'm gonna look this up real quick. 5e weapons. We're gonna use the Roll20 website. Let's look at this list real quick, guys. A short sword? But since when? Okay, so that's boggling to me, the fact that a simple sword. Okay, no, I see you. Okay, so it's really just a bunch of garbage. So silly me, haha. Come around to it. We'll figure out what that, kind of ordeal is at some point. I feel like a silly goose though. But anyway, we cut it. We're just gonna throw the equipment in there because it's kind of the final step, and then you get to go. I don't care. Click the little page, and then you get your page. You got your little stuff and your things and what you can do. I don't even think I chose spells for this guy, but basically Warlock is a little bit of spells, a little bit of action. He's got the +2 con, so he starts at 10, which isn't too bad, not squishy, and he does strength, so he's gonna smack down. It's pretty good. I like it. I like this guy. Armor class, so we can again equip whatever armor they gave him, and his shield. So here's what I'm gonna do: is I'm just gonna real quickly. I think I can add, right? Can I manage inventory and then add items? I want a shield. Not a +1 shield, just a shield. Add. And he can definitely use it. He's a little guy that can use a shield. Sorry. So what they're going to do is they're going to give me disadvantage because I'm not proficient with shields, but we'll figure it out. So maybe I don't know some things about creating a little D&D character, but that being said, we did do it here today, folks. We did make a D&D character. Your DM has betrayed you by telling you all the wrong things, but I'm usually just kind of a work it out yourself kind of person, so it's whatever. We figure it out. Let's get back to the painting part. I said I was going to do some highlights. Let's do some highlights. I think I'm going to start with the orange. So you see, kind of looking at him now, he's like rustic, kind of rough, kind of dirty little nasty boy. So we're going to bring up some of those colors and kind of give them some highlights. So let's elevate you again. Oh, going up, please. Thank you. I think right here is good. Am I not going to hold you right here? Whoa, dude, if I paint right here, you guys get the limelight. I think it's right here, though. I think I can do right here, and then I'll give you guys some close-ups in a bit. Let me get some more coffee in, and we'll get to it. So I'm actually going to go top down. I lied to you once again. I'm going to get that yellow out, that blonde. And just going to get my little top layer on up there. So again, like I was talking about that shade, for that middle layer, it takes that middle layer and kind of tones it down a little bit. Middle layer tones it down a little bit. So I want to reapply the middle layer to have some depth. And I'm going to have to focus on this guy a little bit, so I might not be as talkative during these parts. Yeah. I'm going to drag out some of this paint so it's not overly wet. I want it kind of dry because I don't want it to love getting into the recesses. I kind of want to just apply it on the top. It's like a thin little coat for a thin little guy. Although canonically we did decide that he was thick. He was a thickums, so I don't know that one. So yeah, it's kind of whatever. I don't think it made that much of a difference. So we'll kind of go over the highlight. Actually, I do kind of want to speed around this guy, so let's skip going over the base layers. Let's just go ahead and do these highlights. I'm not impatient, you're impatient. You know, I gotta say, I'm not sure what I want to highlight the blonde with. Give me 2 seconds. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to highlight blonde with the flesh tone to kind of give it some sheen. So I'm going to go over the flesh tone with brighter flesh tone. This one's actually a flesh tone. So I'm going to go over the face with a little bit of a brighter creamy color to kind of ring in some of those more paler tones. And I'm just kind of twisting that little guy. My little finesse trick, you just twist and drag. Get that fine point on there, and then we're going to go in and get some of those little facial features. I'm going to hit the the eyebrows, the nose, and then some of the cheeks. Okay, so the face is starting to come along. I really don't know if you could tell the glare. If I wanted to, like if this wasn't just a D&D miniature, I'd probably spend a little bit more time with it. I might give him some eyebrows real quick, because I've never done eyebrows. And I was looking at him and I said, this guy needs some eyebrows. He's got some thick hair. He probably wants some eyebrows. So I'm going to try to be very delicate and give him some eyebrows. We'll see how bad that goes. You really can't tell. I don't think it's noticeable. Let me turn down the light and see what happens. Oh, it's all dark. Maybe you can tell a little bit. It's a little unibrow. But I definitely don't paint on the eyes. That's definitely something I don't do. So let's finish up. I'm just gonna do some highlights over the orange, and then we're probably just gonna coat the metal a little bit and then get that blade. So we based with that Troll Slayer orange. Now I'm whipping out the Fire Dragon Bright. Should be a nice bright orange. So I'm just going to take that and I'm going to do layers. I want all my highlights, all the little areas I want to seem brighter, to be brighter. Okay. And so any of these raised areas, I don't know how well you can tell in the model. There's, a little guy here, kind of around the arms there. I'm just going to touch those areas up and get them a little bit brighter. So it's also kind of hard because of the angle, but we make do. It's almost like a candy cane kind of stripe. Just because of the way the cloth kind of pulls, it wants to be sequenced. So I'm just trying to get that in there. And then just the faintest. Because it's watered down, I know it's not going to apply too liberally. So I'm just kind of doing some basic light coats, and then I know that it's going to kind of thin out as it dries. So I'm just kind of catching the higher parts of this to kind of give some definition again, to simulate light catching the model at these areas. So any kind of like raised muscles through the shirt, any ruffles from just kind of the way that it sits. I got some armbands that I probably could paint that leathery color, but I think I'm going to throw in some orange there instead. Just because, again, I think the other part of modeling too is you don't want to burn yourself out by over detail work. You want to get the product finished, right? And if you spend all day on all these little things, it's going to drain you out, especially if you know your energy isn't high enough to tackle all those little things. So we can have some stuff be the same color, it's fine. At the end of the day, you can always go back and edit it how you want to. Especially on that orange, brown's so easy to just apply on top of. So realistically, I could go back and do that if I wanted to. I try to set up my models when I do them to always have a space to improve if I ever want to go back and do them. but for them to be kind of table ready once I decide I'm finished with it. Again, kind of touching on that conversation we had earlier about setting those goals for yourself. Alright. So the orange work is kind of done. You can kind of tell there's some little highlights now. From afar away, you can kind of tell there's some definition changes there. It's more of a sheen to it. I'll probably go ahead and go over the brown and then the metal, and then we'll call that. Definitely need some more caffeine. I'm going to take a second to drink some more coffee. Okay. So for the metal, I want a silvery color. Unfortunately, I can't find it. I'm looking around for it. I found it. The silver that I have an issue with, though. So this is the Stormhost silver. Unfortunately, it's a bit thick. So I'm going to shake this up, and it's going to not really do anything for me. I'm just going to have to get my brush a little messy. So give me 2 seconds. I need one of those. They have these like little guys that you stick the paint thing on. It goes and mixes it all up. Definitely want one of those. Okay. So I don't know how well you can see in here, but in here, there's a bunch of goop down here. It's really just kind of water. The actual paint, because of these metallics, has sifted to the bottom. So this is really what I want, but the issue is now the kind of a lot of the mix-in, a lot of the thinner is still in there kind of floating on top. So I'm just going to kind of push that down and then get a little dollop of that thinner and also mix it in. And so this is a really nice, bright, silvery kind of color. This is just going to be good for me to trace the metals to give them a bit of sheen. So you notice there's already a little bit on the corner that you can see that kind of natural kind of look to it. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take the corner and drag the side of my brush on it. You're not seeing that in real time. So now you can see it has a definite kind of line to it. And I'm just going to kind of add that definite line around a lot of the metalwork here to give it a distinct style. It'll show it kind of like it's worn down, so like the faces of the metal are kind of dirtier, but the edges are going to be brighter because it's going to be constantly kind of scraped up against. The dirt's going to be worn down because it's getting touched. If I really want to get artsy, I could draw my own like little scratches, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight the scratches that are there by kind of doing a layer of this on the bottom lip. So that kind of adds, again, a layer of depth there. You can see with this scratch on the bottom is where I kind of added a little bit of that silver tinge. It just kind of shows that the light is kind of coming down in there. And then those side scratches, I just kind of like to go over the lips of them a little bit, just to kind of give them some definition still. And it's a great way to show abrasions as well. You know, like with that metal, I can kind of say, okay, so I want to scratch right here. I'm just going to kind of, boom. And now, like, because that little thin line, it's like, okay, something happened there. There's a little something going on with the texture. So I'm going to try and get these sides of this guy. Unfortunately, still need to train up my my steadiness, getting the side paneling here, but got most of it. And then I'm just going to I'm going to dilute this silver a little bit with some water to make it easier to go on, and I'm just going to trace around some of the plate here. get those lips, anything that I think is going to be caught in the light directly, I want to shine a little bit more. Maybe on the top of the shoulder pads, kind of add a dot, just kind of show some reflection as well. So just kind of dots of reflection for those guys. And then really, like, if I was doing a Warhammer model, I'd kind of be going really heavily in depth. But again, these D&D models, I don't want to spend too much time on because I'm doing a lot of them. The last thing I want to do is get burnt out on a miniature that's going to be in the board for 5 minutes and then get killed by a player character. And if it's a player character, spend some time on it, man. Make them look pretty, make them, you know, awesome, whatever you need to do. But your mobos, your gobsters, whatever, don't care. Like, they're literally going to be there for a few minutes. They're cannon fodder. They're also not meant to steal that light away from the characters. So make them realistic looking, make them, you know, belong in the world, but don't let them take away from your characters. This guy's just some dude out there in the world. Maybe he's a random encounter. Maybe they roll a 16 on traveling and this guy's in the road. Maybe doesn't have a reason to pick a fight, is just kind of there. If you got a, you know, party of murder hobos, maybe they don't trust the guy and they want to, you know, fight him. They say, oh, I like his glowing sword, let's just steal him and take it. You get a combat encounter right there, right out of the box. So getting impatient, I really wanted that sword. Let me just do some quick highlights of the brown. I'm going to choose this kind of fawn brown. It's called Baneblade brown. Just because I want that kind of worn down leather look. And of course, what you can see is in my typical process, I want everybody to see this top-down view of like, oh look, there's this little pretty paint pad and a brush and a model, and that's it. And then you look over and you see just paints everywhere. Because that's kind of my, like, I just like don't have the time to turn back and do all that. And I like having the paints out, so if I need to go back to them, I can. So I typically keep my paints out, just kind of chill. I'm gonna roll it. I didn't water that down. Gotta thin those paints so that they apply, especially those layers you want to be thinner. Because you don't want it overtaking the color underneath of it. So what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of going over the... Come here. Just hang out with me. I'm painting right here. I want you looking. So I'm just kind of going over the little sides. Maybe I run just a stripe all the way around this top, just to kind of give it a look. And you really can't tell. This color is not going on thick enough to really disturb that brown too much. But I'm not pressed about it. It was really just more for the technique of shoving. Basically, like, I'm going to cover on these boots. You can kind of see a little bit. I did the top here. Do the bottom. Just kind of show, okay, those corners get rubbed up against stuff. They're going to have some wear and tear. Maybe around the edge of the sole. Kind of on the base of the feet. This feet are the same color as the dirt. I want them to stick out a little bit. So I'm doing some brown work. Lay in the brown work, as we say. I never said that once. And then, yeah, I can kind of take that and also just trace over some of the, again, maybe taper off, just add some kind of dimension there. If I was doing a model that I really wanted to look nice, I would kind of edge highlight with a thicker paint on those belts. I ain't sweating it. I'm just trying to add some depth to it, so we'll throw in a little brown streak on the case there. Yeah, honestly, man, that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna go ahead and let's see. I think I'm gonna do some texture on the ground, that little dirt stuff. I really should apply this guy to a base. Super glue's in the car though, so I can't put this guy down. I'll do it off stream, I suppose. Basically, there's like a little clear base, So I'll pile on some kind of roughage there and kind of transition it into this. So I'll make it look like one solid piece. But you know what time it is. It's green blade time. It's time to put on that final color just to see how this all comes together. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, had to reach over. So I got a few options. I have, this is an ink. This is gonna be a dark kind of inky color, but the inks are gonna settle to this recess really well and still stay translucent. I've got what's called a glaze. So this is definitely a green color that's meant to kind of have the same effect. Those inks are going to be more heavy on the recesses. Probably would look better. This is just going to be a more consistent color overall. And then I have this technical color they came out with. It's called Tesseract Glow. So that's going to leave the recesses with this kind of darker green and the top parts with this kind of brighter green. And I'm kind of feeling like that might be another way to go. In fact, I think I want to do this. I'm going to have to stir it up a little bit, but I think we can do it. So I'm going to pry it open with my little raccoon teeth, and I'm just going to stir this up. Oh god. This might have gone bad. I don't think they can go bad. This guy might be bad. So I'm just going to kind of mix it up and see what happens. Oh god. Yeah, I don't know about this, guys. It's definitely like that dark green pigment is like stuck down in there and just needs to be blended with everything else. And it's not. So I think they expected me to go through this paint a lot faster than I did. I don't think the effect's really going to happen if it's not all mixed up the way it should be. So I'm just kind of grinding it out of the bottom. We can do a little test run real quick. Once I get this. So, yeah, I'm worried about it being kind of streaky. I'm worried about it not really popping off the way it should. I'm just going to dump the whole thing in there. So, now that there's a more consistent color on the side, I feel a little bit more confident about it, but I don't know. It'll also take some time for that effect to happen, I believe. I don't know. Let's see. Let's just run this out. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? There's only one way to find out. And what a better time to make a mistake than on stream so I can document it for myself on what not to do. I'm going to clean this up because I don't want this green on my hands. Yuck. I'm going to give it one more vigorous shaking and then get some out. Get that mic? It's not gonna get the mic. Get it on the mic. Can't get it in mic. So I shaken it up. It's definitely a much different color now. You can tell overhead. Just gonna get some of it. I'm gonna fucking run it. Giving me kind of 90s vibes, like slime. And then cover both sides of it. It's definitely very neon. I don't see that kind of color differentiation though. Yeah, I don't know. Might not have been the way to go, but it is a very bright color, so even if I don't have that translucent effect, it still looks kind of baller. That's like a very bright color. Dude definitely has something going on. He's getting it from some being. Don't know who. And again, maybe we just have to wait. Maybe we just need to let it kind of soak in. Maybe I need to drag some of it off. Don't apply it so thick. I'll take some off. How about that? We got some on. Let's deglaze. Let's kind of take some of it off. Let's see what happens. Or maybe I can combine it with that ink. Just put like little bits of ink in there and see what happens. Here, let's see. Let's get playful. Because it's the end of the model. Oh! Well, that happened. I just wiped that ink booger off, I guess. Definitely gonna have to have a new palette before I stream next time. That was disgusting. Did you see that? I'm gonna go back and clip that for myself. Alright, I just want to get barely in there. So I wanted to kind of pull off. It was giving me a really cool effect earlier. I really want you to see that. It's giving plant. The green kind of toned it down a little bit, but it's giving fire? Maybe it's giving fire? I don't know. We'll kind of let that hang out and see what happens. I'm getting playful. I definitely am glad that I didn't get on anything else. That little spurt was kind of wild. Alright. So I'm going to take a second to put my paints up, and then we'll probably be dried by the time I get back. So give me just 2 seconds. If I painted more often, I would respect the organization system I used to have. I definitely don't. To both. I used to have a total system for how my paints were organized back there, and I just completely lost it because I don't know. If I'm not doing it enough to keep up with it, there's no point in me being stressed about having it perfect all the time. Although I will say you think the opposite would be true if I did less taking down and putting up of the paints. I would be more tentative to, want to keep it nice and clean, but I don't know. I feel like for some reason I'm like, it's whatever. If I'm not using them that much, I'm not worried about the effort. Yeah, kind of looking at it here. Let's look at this guy. Do I need to turn you down, turn you up? This is our dude. This is the guy that came up with. It's definitely not, not my best job, but it's a dude with a green sword. It's a warlock, Milk. He's been in a few battles. He had a friend named Clarence that was a dragonborn. That kind of, again, silver on the edge is kind of what I'm talking about. Places that I really want to shine. I think my dots on the shoulder pads I'm not in love with. Kind of was freestyling for that guy. Probably could have avoided that. But there definitely seems to be some definition here. Once I glue this guy down to the base, we'll have him looking on a nice little base. It'll be a whole dude. I'll show off. So these are 2 of the PCs that I've done. This guy definitely looks a little whatever. That's the bent arrows to shoot arrows around walls, right? So definitely that's a dude. And then I have this character that I really like, a little tiefling. They're definitely not, they're just kind of based and washed, no highlights yet, so they look a little bit darker. But I had this idea. So back when I was doing more of my work from home job, I'd constantly get kind of I'd have spots where I wasn't really working on anything at the time, and I wanted something to kind of be putting effort into. So I came up with the idea of doing a D&D campaign by myself. And at first, that was just kind of this idea of making little papercraft versions of the characters and being able to run it on a really small tabletop. But I like the idea that I didn't have to wait for anybody else to do this work, and then also it's my only in-person thing because it's just me. So I currently have over here are a collection of the the Mizor or the Noisers and the Pathfinder models. I got enough counted out for me to do my first encounter of the module I'm running, as well as currently working on a battlescape. So this is basically drawn out to be the Elfsong Tavern. I'll be making that as a 3D version to play the models on. So why don't we actually... Here. I'll show that off since we're kind of done painting. So let's do this guy. Give me 1 second here. This is my nice zoomed out down view. So this is the dude, right? So each square, of course, 1 inch by 1 inch to represent models. So yeah, basically I'm kind of building the board. I kind of have, you see traced out here. I'm not sure if I want to cut those pieces off and just have the tavern by itself, or if I want to leave some kind of patches to put grass on or whatever to make it look like a full environment. But, have that battlescape, whatever. Just what I'm working on. I like using the insulation foam. It's a very adaptable material, easy to use. I've used it for armor making before. There's my nose. Look at my nose. Just full scalp. Used it for making armor before. I've used it for making modular D&D tiles before. Definitely a lot of options. Let's get rid of this being full blown. Go back to kind of how we were here. So that's that. I believe it's probably gonna be the end of the stream. Honestly, we painted our model. We painted Milk, the Archfey warlock with his green blade, looking to get revenge on the Archfey that doomed his town, mayhaps. Again, definitely kind of just wanted to play with colors, just wanted to see what's going on. I like the orange and green. I think it's kind of fun. And honestly, you can do artwork. A website that I like to use, if you're somebody that plays online D&D, or you're not really interested in doing the whole model painting thing, is Hero Forge. I can actually pop that back up for you. So Hero Forge is a website that I use fairly often. Oh god. So just kind of making sure that's where I want it to be. Let's pull up Hero Forge. I use Hero Forge a lot. We'll kind of do this in the stream. We could even make Milk in Hero Forge. Let me get the Milk cam back up. So the little guys that I have up right now is a character idea that I had that was basically just one cat that had 2 clones. Could really go into detail at some point, but what you can do... Oh god. just having a whole pantomime event here. There you go. So, we'll go to hero. Oh, log in, please. Oh, just do Google real quick. Yeah, sure, whatever. Steal my password, it's fine. So I use Hero Forge. I can go to my heroes. Let me just save because I don't think those are saved. So we'll start a new guy, and we can basically make Mielk in this Hero Forge. This is an app that you use to make models that you want to buy, but I just like using it as like a character creator for D&D. So basically we can make the same guy. So again, species, I feel like this is fine because all we can do is we can just pop in here, give him some elven ears. I don't even think he really has elven ears. Yeah, so let's give his ears normal. He's like a normal dude. Oh my god, he lost his ears. No. No, I wonder if there's like a half-elf type. A lot of animal stuff recently. There are a lot of animal stuff in here. I don't know that I'm about it. Dude, I'm gonna spend 18 minutes looking at ears. This sucks. Oh, that's fun. Anyway, so I'm gonna go to hair. You know, he's got this long hair. Long flowing hair. Is it longer? Wow. I mean, that's a pretty hairdo for Mielk. I feel like it's definitely longer, maybe not the longest. Oh, bro's out there getting it. Let's do that. I feel like that's kind of apt. Let's give him his armor. Remember, it's the chest plate here with that orange kind of look to it. So what we're gonna do is, I'm just gonna start with an outfit that looks kind of similar and then work our way backwards. Looks like they've got a lot of tunics in here. It's kind of the gist. So really that kind of makes it easier as well. I really just kind of want that chest plate look. I'd say for all intents and purposes, we probably all intensive purposes, all purposes intents. We'll just say that's his armor. That's fine. Whatever. We'll take the helmet off because he doesn't wear a helmet. Little charming lad. He's got his little shoulder pauldrons. They're round. We'll just give him some round pauldrons. Gonna not focus on getting it exactly right. Just kind of getting an idea and showing off what we do here. Wow, that's fun. Big pauldron, small pauldron. Yeah, we'll say that's his look. And then let's just go ahead and give him his sword and shield. He's got, again, that flaming... Oh my gosh. Flaming sword on the left side. Just give him that one. Give him a little shield on the right side. It's kind of cracked up metal shield. Sure. That's easy. Let's get him into a pose real quick. I think this one kind of has him walking forward. So what I like to do is I can pull up the arms as well. If I want the, to look a certain way. Gonna twist that elbow up. And then I'm just gonna go to the shield itself. Twist it, his other arm. I want the elbow kind of out. Clavicle. And then I'm just gonna take his hand. I'm gonna twist his hand a little bit. So then kind of from an angle, it looks kind of similar, right? Well, we can drop the arm maybe a little bit, but honestly, it's very similar. Look, this guy, he's walking. We're walking. Kind of basically the same vibe, right? But this one, you can kind of change however you want to. We'll just drop, I think, kind of drop the shoulder a little bit. What am I thinking of here? There's a movement that I want to do that I'm not doing. Because I feel like the shoulder should be... No. Maybe so. Because you just get this kind of blade aloft, right? But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, and there's going to be spell effects on the sword that I can do. Hello? What's going on here? Yeah. Yeah, a little fire. He's got his little fire going on. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. That's some minis. I'd really just like to... Man, why is it like this? It doesn't have... gear back. I don't know. It's been kind of weird. That's why. Okay, I'm just looking at it from a different view. Yeah, I don't really notice. There's not... I mean, if that's what we got, that's what we got. But then we can go to color. Color's fun. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start off Mr. Blondie. Honestly, it's kind of the vibe that I wanted to go for originally, with that kind of tan look, but we're going to do the light and then give him blonde hair in a bit. Theme. We got orange armor that we can do. I kind of really just want to stick a color on there so I can come back and clean it up. And obviously this is making my model look a lot worse because there's so much color going on here. Let's just do that kind of basic color, and then what we're going to do is we're going to come in. I can take like leather orange leather, and that's kind of his deal. He's got this orange leather. No, he had black pants, right? Thank you. I know what's going on here. But his tabard is definitely orange. So then let's do like a yellow. No. Let's do this on the edges. And then give him that black pants that he loves so much. Let's get his black pants. Let's do blonde hair. Let's do corn syrup blonde. Makes the yellow kind of look weird now. Let's just go back and do that as orange. Yeah, he's all orange. He doesn't mind. He's just an orange boy, tangerine man. Yeah, and then I think that's really kind of the gist there, is that he's kind of... Oh, we want green fire, don't we? I can kind of get that. Whoa, that looks cool. And then can we do that on the top? Yeah, so there's the green. So yeah, that's kind of like your character. So, you know, when I do games, virtually, I like to ask people to use this because it's fun. It's a nice little way to kind of mix up and make a little character. So otherwise, that's kind of our guy that we made. This is Mielk. I did give him yellow eyebrows, so I do need to give him his nice little yellow eyebrows. Maybe we change his face a little bit. So he's Urg. Oh, so serious, so stoic. All right, and then, you know, once you're done, save. Oh, I did not save as. I think I just saved over. Oh no. So yeah, change his name. This is Mielk. Oh, it's Mielk, which I don't have the ability to put the apostrophe in, but that's our guy we made. So now we have him. Stunning resemblance, right? Basically the same dude. So that's that. I think that's a good place to kind of wrap it up here. Again, you know, with painting, I think my biggest thing is half the time it's just practice. You know, you can paint a model that you're not super happy about and still know that you improved in some way or another. Same with Call of Duty, honestly. Anything that you do, when you put energy into it and you think about what you're doing, you are making progress. Oh, until you knock him over. Or dip him in coffee. A little coffee treat for bubbies. So that's probably going to be the wrap up. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Shout out to the VOD watchers for hanging out, watching me paint some. Hopefully this was on the background while you were doing some morning hobbies, some routines, whatever you want to do. That's what I would encourage, a little space to get some hobby work in. That all being said, I'd like to, again, just thank you for checking me out. Appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here, so everybody have a great